You're watching Dr. Amir Sankofa Kwele live. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that like button, and subscribe. It's going down.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Today is definitely, a peaceful, decent day, I would say. I'm still, my allergies are kind of not really good, so I am working through that right now. I took some herbs, but I took some herbs earlier, and I'm probably about due for another field. So yeah, get started with that. So ginger, I've been drinking anything ginger. I got these ginger shots downstairs that I created, and I also been drinking these Reed's ginger beer. These are really for my husband. I always get him these, but the ginger in here makes me feel really good for my little throat. Because I'm telling you, as soon as here lately, the pollen is so bad here lately that the pollen and the other junkie that's in the air is really bad, and I'm finding myself having a lot of issues as far as my sinuses draining, and it's really problematic here lately. I really have never had this. I've never had this a lot till it recently. Not here and there, I get it, but not like this. This is horrible, right? So another thing I had to, I'm gonna probably start trying to do is cutting the coffee out of my diet, Terry, and I'm probably gonna go to my chai tea and different teas that I'm really into. But you all know that I'm in love with Starbucks, uh, and on occasion they may probably slip and put milk, regular cow's milk in my stuff, and so you know what that is, straight mucus. And coffee in general is acidic, so it's not in the best like. Where my lights at? Can y'all see my lights? Let me make. Okay. So, anywho, that's what's going on. So, I would really like to give some information about adoption. I'm gonna try to make this video not so long, because I know a lot of times when you make videos really long, people tend to, even if it's very useful information, people tend to not view it. So first, let me say this. I have different opinions. I don't agree. I have I think three different ways. I put four, like brother from the fourth floor, the fifth floor, but three different ways. I'm sorry. I think three different ways. I always try to look at it from my point of view, and I try to look at it from a different person's point of view, and then I look at it in a different way, you know. I try to. Some things I'm just in the knowing of. Some things I'm just like stern. This is what it is. Uh, but when it comes here lately, I think I've changed on the terms of certain race relations because of members in my family. Because I have members in my family that have taught me a lot. as far as, and children can certainly teach you a lot as far as relations. Um, but however, I still have always been the type of person. If you treat me decently, then I'm going to certainly treat you decently, and I don't walk around and spill certain things. But the truth is the truth. And it is some things I just can't. I can't save the world. I'm not a saver of the world. I am a healer. So a lot of people, when you come to my channel, you have to understand that I am a healer. And by me being a healer, I'm going to look at life differently than you look at life, because you look at life, you may, and some of you may look at life on the terms of you may be staunch this way or staunch that way. But remember and keep in mind that I am a healer. And by me being a healer, again, I'm going to look at it different ways, and I'm not going to see things in the way that you may see things, right? So, on this particular channel, I do respect people's opinion, but what I would prefer people to do is to respect each other on this channel, because you know keep in mind that a lot of times it's really hard to get up here on the YouTube streets and discuss and have certain conversations, and certain conversations I'm just not willing to have anymore, because to be honest with you, I do have clients of different well, number one, because of family members, two, because I have different type of I have all type of clients all around the world, and their religious preferences, statuses, they may identify as something else. And I don't put my personal opinion on my clients. I let my clients are allowed to feel and think how they want to think. And I don't put my perception of what I deem things on how they should live their life. My ultimate goal is to help them to take the life that they have, to help them to make it better, or to what they want to do. So, for example, if they need organizing in their life, if they need their life decluttered, or if they need their house decluttered, even if it's, for example, a hoarder may come to me and say, well, hey, I need to figure out why I hoard. Okay, so I'm gonna work on why they hoard. That's number one. It's not my opinion, but it's what you know it is, right? Secondly, if on a cleaning standpoint, I'm going to take what the client needs and try to perfect that. So regardless, they might not want me to clean up fully, but they may want me to do a dab of clean up. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to project my will on people. And that's part of the problem with society today. They project their will on how they feel like you should do things. And you cannot tell people how they should feel and how they should not feel, because we're all different. And I think that this society is so cultish that if you don't agree with a person, or you don't have the same set of values, then you're wrong. And that does not make you wrong. Certain values or just certain things that just should not be allowed. For example, child molestation, child abuse, raping of anybody, because you do understand, ladies, men can get raped too. It's not just you getting raped. So Me Too movement doesn't just apply to women; it also applies to men, because men are getting raped, molested, and all kind of things being done to them equally. Okay, so we can't have it one way. So again, this society is a cancel society, and every time you turn around, people are always trying to cancel you because you have a difference of opinion. And I am entitled to my opinion. This is my channel. This is my view. This is my experiences. And so I have my own opinion, and you are entitled to have your opinion, but your opinion is not going to be as disrespectful. I'm not going to have people to disrespect me on my channel, nor am I going to allow other people to disrespect each other. And that's something we're going to have. So certain topics I am going to refrain from. I'm not going to go, some things I might touch on, but I might not go too deep because of the stigma it comes with. And like I said, I have certain family members that may be affected by that conversation. And what I'm not going to do is be disrespectful to anybody in my family. That's number one. Number two, I don't want to disrespect any of my clients because, again, I have different type of clients, and I don't have to be what you guys feel like I should be because this is my life and this is how I live. Okay. Or this is how I make my money. I don't make money here on YouTube. I don't yet. Not saying I won't ever, but right now I don't. So right now my YouTube channel is an informative channel to give you information on my opinion on certain things that I react to or certain things that I see, whether it's movies, whether it's the so-called Mamiana sector, whether it's current news, whether it's certain things I probably will refrain from getting too heavy, like political things, because I have a difference of opinion and I look at things differently. And my goal here also is to promote my business. Okay. So I spent enough time in discussing that. Okay. So let's move on into what I'm discussing. And so I know for a fact that a lot of times, because I'm giving you some useful information on adoption, a lot of times people will not really come to the channel because I'm not clowning anybody or I'm not acting crazy or silly or anything like that, because I do have a sense of humor. And so now I'm trying to be informative to give you some information on the terms of adoption. So let me first pull up my information that I have in the classes that I had to take. So because I want to make sure, and I also took some notes because I wanted to make sure for my phone that I am getting my best. I'm giving you as much information as I possibly can. And some of this is, okay, give me a second here. Okay, so let's talk about it. So anyway, I took this now upon the adoption process. One of the things that we're going to discuss on the adoption process is that I want everybody to keep in mind upon the adoption process is that and I'm talking about adoption care through foster care. Okay, one of the things, each state is different. Certain states may do this a different way and certain states do that a different way. And this is something that I did learn upon the adoption process, was that different states do different things. Okay. And different workers do different things. So let's try I'm gonna try my best. So how you doing? Don't need no man telling me I do. How you doing? Okay, so some of the things is that some of the things will apply differently, like I stated before. So what happens is we all come together. We all do a situation where you come together, and this is through foster care. So sometimes you may decide that regardless of whether you can have children or not, not everybody adopts children, go to the adoption system or do the foster care system because they can have children or not have children. Some people just want to expand their family through the means of adoption. And so for me, I already have biological children. And I'm a little up in age. And if the creator, and I can still get pregnant, for the record. Not that that's any of some of y'all business, but just in case if you all want to know, that I will share that with you. But as a whole, it really none of y'all business. I just voluntarily gave the information, but because I wanted to share you that. But for me and my household, for me and my husband, we wanted to expand our family. We always discussed adoption. We always had that conversation about adoption, and we always wanted to adopt. but we just wanted to kind of get more information on, fill it out, and decide how we want to expand our family. So, sometimes you go back and forth, you think about it, you go, well, should I, is this the right time? So we're trying to figure out the right time to adopt. So we figured we moved into a bigger place, a bigger condo. So we moved into that, and we decided that this was time. This was the perfect time. We had just gotten married. We had been together for a number of years, so we have a pretty stable relationship. So we said, well, after we got married, we said, you know what, this is a perfect time now because we had gotten married. First we had the spiritual marriage, but then we went into the transition of the actual going to the court, making it so, right? So uh, so when you consider adoption, you definitely, I'm an adoptee. They call it an adoptee or adopted child as well, right? So I really pretty much knew a lot about adoption, but I knew the side of an adopted child, because my parents, we never really sat down and talked about it a lot. I mean, other than I was chosen, and then people would try to make fun of me because I didn't look like my parents, so they would do the whole you look like you don't look like your parents, you must be adopted. And I would always throw up in people's face, well, hey, my parents chose me, but your parents were forced to have you, so I was special. Are you? you know so so I knew that side of it, and I understood the side of it, but I mean, on the terms, I knew what foster home or agency that I came from. I was not in foster care. My biological mom put me through in a particular agency, and I was adopted within the 6-month period. So let's move on. So the process of adopting a child or adopting children is deciding that you want to adopt. That's the first process. The second process is getting information. Okay, getting information, trying to do as much research, look on the internet, looking up books, talking to people who also or who have adopted, and also getting more information on the terms of reaching out to your local area that you're in and asking them more about the system, so that they do have a 1-800 number. So if you go to your government area, they have an area where it says adoption and foster care system. That's on everybody's website. That's on all government websites. Okay. Or again, we're talking about foster care. Okay. And then there are certainly you can find children on different websites, and we'll talk about that. Well, let me mention it real quick. There are children on different websites that if they have like a number, a number that you can copy paste that number and apply it to the government website once you get in. But that's another story. So I just throw that out there. Okay. Well, when you're going through the foster care system, please understand, everybody, that, and I might break this down in parts. Okay. And I probably will be available later on. I will be available later on to make another video on the terms of that, because timing, I have to be off for here by 3:30. Okay. So let's see what time we at. Okay. I might be able to finish. Okay. So, because I'm trying to give as much information as I possibly can. Okay. So what happens is, when you go through the system, when you decide, hey, this is me, I'm thinking about going and adopting, etc. So you reach out to the county. They have like a little form that you're going to fill out online. And this is after you've done the research and you basically have your mind made up on what you want to do. Excuse me. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, who can all adopt children? Well, who can all adopt children, to share this all with you? Who can all adopt children would be single people, married people, same-sex couples, and you have to be a certain age. Some states do vary, and certain circumstances do matter. As long as you're not too, long as you are not past a certain age. Again, certain states do vary. And then if you one of your spouses may be younger than you, then that can be certainly that will maybe it's a loophole with that, but that's another conversation. So the age does vary. You have to at least be, in most cases, you have to at least be. I've seen it where most people have to be 21. Now, that's not saying that's not saying that if like one of your family member, like a kinship, and one of your family member becomes a part of foster care and you're like 18 or 19, that's not saying that you can't adopt, because that's a different scenario, because that's a kinship that you couldn't get your kinfolk out of, or kinship out of the foster care system or try to adopt. That may be a different scenario, okay? But for the most part, it's usually excuse me. I'm right by this window too. It's usually 21 and up. Okay. So definitely understand that. Hold on. Ah, okay. So definitely understand that point of okay. So normally they have it where you're 21. I've seen other websites. I've seen other states may vary. Keep in mind, certain things do vary. And then you have to be a little, and then you obviously have to be stable. You do have to be stable. They would not, like, if you were, let's say if you were a traveling salesperson, more than likely you would not be a candidate for adoption. But however, do keep in mind that that's not me telling you not to go for it, because you never know. They may work with you. It depends, because again, you may decide where you may be already, you get into the system of trying to adopt, and by the time you're ready to adopt, your job situation, or before the homestead, your job situation might turn around. You know what I mean? So definitely keep that in mind. Or you may get a local traveling. Okay, another question that people ask, can you be on some type of subsidy, like SSI or welfare? Or yes, you can adopt if even if you're on some type of a subsidy, or even if you're receiving unemployment, because that is some type of stable income coming in. But keep in mind that the eventually, unemployment will probably run out. So eventually they're probably gonna look at you at a certain period of time, like, okay, so yeah, other income coming in. But I'm just telling you, that they have worked with people on those terms. Okay, so why do most people choose foster care? Well, the reason why most people choose foster care, because foster care is it is a lower cost than most. So foster care can cost you, to adopt through foster care, it can be free all the way up to $1,500. Okay, it depends on the situation. Because sometimes you may not qualify, but we're getting into that. Sometimes in the $15, and well, the $15 could go to what the lawyer. That's normally what an adoption lawyer costs going through foster care. However, there are certain minute costs that you will have to pay for on your own. Um, what are there? What are there? What are they? They are, number one, you're gonna have to get, once you get to the point where you're ready to adopt, you will have to pay for your own FBI fingerprints, for your fingerprints. But that's like 60. Normally it's like $60 or so, 60 something dollars. You also you're gonna also have to pay for, if you, when I was telling you about the lawyer system, now you may have to pay for, like your lawyer, possibly, if DCS does not cover it. Majority of the cases that I have talked to different people, DCS do cover it, but your lawyer may require you to pay something, like it may be the filing fee, or the birth certificate and things like that for the child, because you know you have to get a new birth certificate for the child. Okay. All right. I'm trying to make sure I covered these bases. Okay. Next, let's talk about next you're going to next, after you decide, a caseworker is going to get with you and go, hey, my name is Belinda, because like I said, you filled out that form. So they're going to be like, okay, hi, what's up, Belinda? What's up with you? You know what I mean? My name is Belinda. I'm calling you because I seen your entry that you're interested in adopting. Um, you know, I'm going to explain to you a couple of things. Is it something you sure you want to do? You're like, yes, it's something I really want to do. Okay, well, you're gonna have to take some classes. So what they're calling, what the classes are parenting classes. If I remember correctly, I think they're called the rep. I think they're called rep classes or something like that. RAPT. I think that's what they call. Basically, the classes are designed to teach you about the adoption system and how it works. It's also designed to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, because I know for a fact that a lot of you all, just like myself, have looked at these adoption videos and they are the most beautiful, heartfelt, warming energy that you ever saw in your life, and you just feel so connected and bind to that, and that you really want to adopt every dang old child. Been looking at that video. However, ladies and gentlemen, it is not like that. It's not. But then we'll talk about that later. So when you look at these classes, the classes may freak you out. The classes are designed to make sure that this is something that you really want to do, and it's trying to make sure for a fact that you are sure. Okay. So once you take these said classes, you got to complete like 3 different ones. Now, we're talking about adoption. I'm not talking about foster care. Okay, because there is a difference. Foster care is basically when the child stays with you for a certain period until the parents or guardians that originally had them or getting themselves together or following whatever uh, list that DCS have for them to do. So, for example, let's say that they were on drugs. So they will make sure that they was doing like their drug rehabilitation for a certain period of time. So it's based upon reunification. Now, the flip side of that, let's say that the parent does not go through they call it a parenting plan. So let's say, for example, the parent does not follow the parenting plan and has no intention, doesn't do anything, any of the guidelines, nothing. So what happens is more than likely the rights may be terminated. The rights are terminated, and then you will have first dibs. I hate to say it like that, but that's true. You have the first. You're the first person that DCS is going to go to because of the fact that the child has been in your home, and they don't want to further traumatize that child or children, because you have the first right. They go to you because more than likely, if a family member could have adopted or were in a position that the child would have been with them originally, right? They wouldn't even put the child with you. They probably would have more than likely still been an assistant, but they would have been an assistant under the kinship. So, for example, let's say that a grandmother had, the children until said father and mother got their situation together. But in the event that they did not, the grandmother would be the first person, because number one, she's kinship. Number two, the children are already residing in her home. But that's a lot of times what that happens. But definitely consider that. Okay, so rights are terminated for whatever reason. You, being the foster mom, do have first dibs, and you decide, hey, I want to go ahead and go for the adoption, or you as a foster mom say, no, I not right now. I just kind of want to stick to being a foster mom, and I will allow the child to sit here, live here until such said time. So Anyway, they teach you about all of that. They teach you about the adoption system. They teach you about different forms of adoptions, or different forms, because there is a such thing as guardianship. Just an example, just to name a couple: guardianship, and like I said, foster parents. You can become foster parents, and with foster parenting, you do get a subsidy. You get a subsidy. What are subsidies? That is the amount of money that the state gives you for the child to live there. That's based upon the child's needs. So subsidies can be anywhere from $3. Um, in some cases, $3 a day. I don't want to even say $3, probably $7 a day or more. You know what I'm saying? You can get all the way up into a certain amount. Some states will only do like up to $20 a day for a regular child, provided that they don't have special needs. Now, but if you have a special needs child in the home, then obviously they're going to give you more for that special needs child. Okay. So in some cases, let me tell y'all something. Sometimes once you decide you're going to adopt, sometimes you may not qualify for a subsidy. Now, subsidies, or like I said, 20 the maximum amount that they would give you if for a child that does not have any special needs would be $20. Now, you may not get the $20, you may get way under that. $3, $4, $6, whatever the state, the social worker, whatever determines how much you qualify for. They call what department? I'm trying to remember what department that is. Anyway, it's a department in DCS that does that. And okay, so to break down, while the child is in your custody, the child will receive they will receive free Medicaid, free medical, which is Medicaid, right? Free medical, Medicaid through the government. They provide that for you. The other thing that they can provide, I will provide for you if they have anything that comes up, like little perks, like if they have bowling events, they have free bowling coupons, or Six Flag coupons, or resort coupons, and your social worker, if you have a good social worker, they might call you and tell you what they offer. They may email you. Okay. So, okay. So from there, and then sometimes a child is placed into your home and you don't get nothing but the medical, which is still good, because guess what? You don't have to come out of pocket, because they're still considered a ward of the state, or they're still considered DCS child. So DCS makes those decisions. So they teach you all that in class. They teach you a lot of things. So one of the things that even I'm down to, you have to definitely stay in tune with the caseworker. So before I start telling you about that, let me talk about, okay, so the classes teach you various amounts of things. Maybe I'll do a video on the things that they teach you in the classes, right? Okay, but I'm not doing that today. So what happens is, excuse me, after you do the class, you let your caseworker, you sign in. Your caseworker basically knows, hey, you took all the classes, or who you and somebody else that's adopted, you and your mate, or whatever the case is, or you yourself that is taking care of the child. Yeah, I got. Okay, give me a second. That's weird. Okay, so I can't wait. I'm really gonna have some information to give y'all. Y'all just don't know later on. I could do a play by play. All right, so another thing. So let's have a real discussion. So the discussion is, wait, give me a second here. Give me a second here. Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna do a commercial real quick because I want to do. I want to be able to fully pay attention to you all for a second. I don't want no issues. Hold on one second. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second.
Death is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The cemeteries are full of people who've passed from a preventative illness. With the correct approach, you not only extend your chances of preserving your life, but you will improve the quality of your life with a natural approach. The earth provides energy healing herbs for the benefit of mankind.
Hello, I'm Amira Sankofa Kwali here at As Life Coaching Ministries. We're located at 1921 West Broadway. We've been in the healing business for over 20 years. To order my products, go to www.as314life.com. I'm available 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Namaste. Okay. Sorry about that. So what happens is once you get done the classes, what is next is what they call the home study. The home study. Okay, so technically what happens is because the way that DCS is made up, but back in the day it was a little bit differently, but DCS will assign another person from DCS will designate another person from another agency to come out to do what they call a home study. So the home study, basically, where they come out to, first you come out to the agency, you do an interview with them. They give you some packets and paperwork to fill out. You do all these paperwork. And by the way, the parenting classes that you take are college credits. Dig that. So once you fill out the paperwork with this worker, they interview you, they talk to you and your mate, they do little small talk conversations, they get to know you. This is a process. You all are going to be kind of joined together. So, they're going to ask you for a whole gums of paperwork, y'all. I'm talking about car insurance, your car, you know what I mean, that your car is paid for, or if it's not, if it's a note. They're going to ask you about all your utility bills. So get ready for that. All the bills that you paid they're going to ask you probably more than likely for a 3-month period. Okay. So you're going to give them information. If you got insurance on the car's registration. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The car registration. You're going to also get a fingerprint. Now, the fingerprints are paid for now because you're considered a foster parent at that time. When you first start, you're going to be considered a foster parent, but you're letting them know, but you need to let them know up front, hey, I don't want to be a foster parent. I want to be an adoptive parent. Okay. But you're still going to be legally considered a foster parent until the adoption is legalized. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So they're going to ask for everything. Your rent, if you rent, or if you bought your house, whatever your housing situation is, they're going to want to know all of that. They're going to want to see how much your house costs and all that. Everything, y'all. Phone bill, everything, every bill you got, your bank account, all of that. They're gonna ask for all that up front. Then what they're gonna do is schedule time to come out when it's convenient for you and them. They're not just gonna pop up at your house, okay? Because you're not unfit. They're not, seeing that you're unfit. You're trying to adopt a child, so they're gonna schedule a time frame when it's convenient for you, when it's convenient for them. Y'all, give me a second here. Okay. So once they come out, that's when the stuff is going to get in depth. Okay, so I'm not going to tell y'all to watch what you say. I'm going to tell you be honest, but I'm also going to make sure that you explain things the way that you need to explain. What do I mean by that? For example, a lot of times, let's say they have a questionnaire, a lot of questionnaires that you're going to have to fill out because they're trying to get to know who you and whomever, or just you by yourself if you're a doctor. So, oh yeah, they're gonna want check stubs too, y'all. They're gonna want your check stubs. So just think about it as if you're buying a car. You know, if you're buying, excuse me, you're not buying a car, but in the sense of the paperwork aspect. When you're buying a car, they're gonna weigh way more than when you're buying a car. But certain things like your check stubs, your banking information, things like that. That's what I mean. So they're going to do that. So they're going to have a whole bunch of questionnaires. Some of the questionnaires going to be like, how would you describe yourself? And it's going to be a lot of paperwork like this thick. Like I'm telling you, throughout the whole time that you're going through this process, you're going to have to fill out a lot of paperwork. It's going to get so frustrating. I'm telling you. So one of the things, the paperwork, one of the questions on the paperwork, it may say, how would you describe yourself? So it may have lazy, smart, intelligent, mean, evil. You know what I mean? It's not gonna say it was just mean, honest, stern, whatever. So let's say you check stern. They're gonna be like, what do you mean by stern? Can you explain to me what do you mean by stern? They're interviewing you. And then if you're with someone, if you have a husband, wife, or living partner, whatever the situation is with y'all. So they're gonna be like, well, explain how do you see each other? Tell me more about your mate's personality. They're not gonna want references. Then they're gonna want and they're gonna question and drill your references. So don't use somebody that you just met or you kind of cool with, because you just don't know. And then make sure you choose somebody that has who has the best intentions for you, because sometimes people don't have the best intentions for you, and that one little person can mess it up for you, you know.
My daughter Lavana, or Lavana daughter Walker.
So what happened is the next thing is they're going to ask you you know, like if you have children in the home, or even if you have children in the home, whether you have children in the home or not, what's going to happen is, let's say that they're on what you call let's say that you don't have custody of your children, but you share custody. You don't have full custody, that they may stay somewhere else. So whatever the situation is, they're going to want to interview your children if they're under 18, okay, and they're considered living with you. You know, if they consider you have a certain amount of custody, you have a certain percentage of custody of them, or not, or a little bit, or whatever the case is. What they're going to do is they have to also get police report, DCS, what they call. You also have to get two reports. Excuse me. You have to get a DSS report to make sure you're not in the system for abusing children or dogs, monkey, whatever. And you also have to get fingerprints. Guess what? Your children are going to have to do it too if they're under 18, if they live in the home. And you may share some type of custody, and they're considered living in the home regardless. Okay, did you understand that they're going to be considered living in the home, whether they come over once a month? Yeah, seriously. So they're going to do that as well. They're going to interview them. They're going to interview whoever you put down as references. They're going to interview everybody. And this is not just like a one-day process. you're going to be probably doing this for, I would say, about a month, like every week. Like every week, I would say like 1 to 2 months. It depends on what the situation is, and it depends on. And then after all the interviews are complete, they're going to write a report. Before they write their report, but they're already writing down stuff. Okay. So I'm not gonna tell you to watch what you say, but I'm just gonna tell you to just be mindful of what they say. Okay. Be mindful of your answers, be mindful of what they ask you. They're gonna get personal. They're gonna be like, well, what was your sex life like? Yeah. And see, a lot of times, and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of us and I hate to throw the race in, but it's the truth. A lot of times, melanated people do not like personal questions like that. That is really personal to us, and we're a private people. So already just rip the band-aid off. They're gonna rip the band-aid off. So you might as well get used to it. Okay. So once they ask these questions, and once they've done all, and you fill out all these thousands and millions of questionnaires. Oh, and keep in mind that you're gonna do those probably 3 classes, but then you're gonna do some trauma. It's also important that you do trauma classes as well, because that will also, because keep in mind that I forgot, I left this out. In foster system, in the foster care system, the children, it's really difficult to get little babies. Not saying that you can't. It's easier if you're. It's not. I'm not saying that you can't. You won't be able to get children, babies, but it's harder. Because most children are older in the foster care system. And guess what? By them being older, they have experienced what? More trauma, right? So by their have experiencing more trauma, you will need, and this, I think it's like, it depends on what state you're in, but what I've noticed, I think it was like 3 to 4 trauma courses. And I would advise you to take all of them so you will know how to deal with that child. Because sometimes when a child first get there, you may not see the trauma until later on in life. Sometimes you may see it up front, or sometimes because they call it a honeymoon phase. But we'll talk about that in a little while. I'll do a separate video on there. Let's see. Let me keep up with my time frame. Okay. So also, let's discuss this. So another thing what happens is when you are when you go through this process, so you have to, so what this process is the approval part. So you done already went through all those stages that I told you about. Now you're into a new stage, and that's the home study part. Like I said, you're doing the home study. So like I said, everybody got to be interviewed. All the references you put down, they're going to call them, they're going to interview them. So you better choose wisely. Now, the I would say the third to fourth part of the home study portion, they are going to look in your house. So if I was you, I would clean my house up. Now, they do not expect your house to be totally perfect, because guess what? It's, you just gotta kind of, okay, let me tell you key things. Don't have no roaches. The next thing is make sure your electricity is on. Make sure you have running water, stuff like that. Make sure you have food in the refrigerator. Make sure you have a place for the child to sleep and a bed. That's my thing. Okay. So the last portion of that is they're going to come in, but the whole while they're coming and visiting you guys, or you, they're going to be looking around in your house. They're not gonna walk around, but they're just gonna do eye look stuff like, you know how you go up someone's house and you just kind of look to see, okay, if this house is clean enough where I can sit down it, basically like that, right? That's gonna be all the visits the whole time they're coming to visit you and interview you and things like that, right? So now the last visit is going to be them walking around your home to making sure that your house, it has to be each room have to be a certain square feet. Okay. If it's not exactly, don't trip. Okay. Now, you do, if I were you, I will have a bed that you're going to have the child in. Definitely, I mean, the room that you're going to have the child in, definitely have a bed, please. Okay, just save energy for them, because you don't want them to keep having a, now they will work with you and they'll tell you, they'll look and tell you what you need if you don't get it right the first time. But why keep having to do home visits all the time, home studies all the time? You don't want to keep doing that. You just kind of want to knock it out in one while. Now, you're going to have a fire extinguisher on each floor. So if you have 3 floors, it needs to be in the closet, on the floor, something like that. You know, I'm just saying where in eyesight where they can see, where if they open the closet, they can see it. Fire extinguishers, make sure your water's running. They're going to test the water. They're going to make sure they can flush the toilet. Make sure you have food in in the refrigerator, you know, like I stated before. Make sure that you know, safety hazards are not there. They are going to look at your air conditioning, your heating system. They are going to they're also going to make sure that you have everything put up. So, for example, let's say you have bleach. You know, not to have bleach, even if you know you're getting older children. This is the home study. You still want to put it up on a higher level where children can't reach it. Simple. But they do check. Those are the basics. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in about an hour or so, and I'm going to finish the video. Okay. Thank you so much. Definitely tune in. I definitely look forward to having the conversation. Thank you.
You're watching Dr. Amir Sankofa Kwele live. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that like button, and subscribe. It's going down.